Dominic from Foil Drive here. This is Hub Deckers from Foil Surf Netherlands. We've just been testing a whole range of Armstrong boards for their signal connectivity with Foil Drive Gen 2. So Hub, overall, how did it go?
Yeah, it went really well.
Yeah.
You got to try a lot of different boards.
I really did.
Yeah, so we went all the way from a downwind board, 96 liters, all the way down to a WKT with 9 liters. Some worked well, some didn't. But all in all, well, you can safely say that the Armstrong boards work really well with the foil drive.
Yeah, apart from the 9-litre board, which really we weren't expecting it to work.
Correct.
It's a bit like the Axis tray. It's pretty much solid carbon. I know that's not entirely accurate, but there's no way for the signal to go into that board like the other boards, which have got foam, a decent layer of foam in between. So
yeah, that board is only an inch thick, so
yeah, well,
it's really
less than, yeah. So the downwind board, we had really good connectivity.
Yeah, worked really good.
The wing board.
Yeah, so we tried the downwind board.
Yeah.
It worked really well. We tested a previous generation wing sub, 60 liters, really well. Then we went down to the new 4.2 wing FG, 35 liters. Was also perfect.
Yep.
Then we went to prone surfboards.
Yeah.
So we took a wing surf 4.5 and a wing surf 4.0.
Yeah.
Well, those had some challenges, but yeah, you made an interesting discovery with the inserts.
Yeah, if you position the controller directly on top of one of the Footstrap inserts, perfect connectivity, no signal loss whatsoever. It can make it a little bit awkward or challenging at first to hold the controller in that position while you're building up speed, but it took me about 10 minutes to get used to it.
Yeah.
And then every single time a winner. No
And what
problem
was
at all.
even amazing to see is that when you even had the controller like 20-30 centimeters underwater, you still had plenty of signal. You were just cruising around underwater.
That was the whole board, the whole of the controller, literally everything underwater, just cruising around about that far underwater, no signal loss, because the controller was on top of the Footstrap insert. So that even if there are connectivity difficulties, what we've discovered today is that there are ways to get around it.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want to have the trouble of, doing what we've just said, then it's about board choice. But at least we know that for every board in the Armstrong range, apart from that 9-litre board, there is a way of making it work with the Gen 2. Cool.
A cold, successful Sunday afternoon.
Awesome. Thanks,
Cool,
Hub.
man.
Cheers. This is what's the dimensions?
This is the 2024 Wing FG 34 liters 4.2.
34 litres, 4.2. So no signal issues at all. The box is very underwater. Okay, now I've lost signal. Now I've got signal, don't even have to touch it. So let's give it a go. Cold. Okay, I sank the board on purpose to see what it was like. So let's give it a proper go. Okay, conclusions for this board. No signal issues that I've detected using it in the normal way. So I can get signal even without touching the controller on the board. And that retains for everything that I want to do. If I hold the controller on the board, I can even retain signal a little bit underwater. I'll try and show you. Okay, so even with the controller on the board, when I go underwater, it's probably about 2, maybe 3 seconds where the signal stays, but no longer than that. So if you want to use a board like this, if the signal drops out, you've got to make sure that the nose is out of the water and you wait about 3 to 5 seconds for the signal to reconnect, and then you're as good to go as with any other board. Wing sup that's 60 litres, so 3 sizes bigger than the last one, and I'm really not having any problems at all. So even with it not touching the board, when I'm on the board, there's a recess in the deck that means the board is thinner than it looks, but I'll just demonstrate that I rarely have any signal cut out with this board, and it's because it's bigger, it's thicker, and the signal passes through easier. Okay, as you could just see, I was deliberately going super slow with the board dragging through the water, and there wasn't any signal loss. So by the time you get to a board of this size, no problem at all. Nowhere near the board. It where the paddle would be, no signal problems whatsoever. This?
This is the Wing Surf 4.5 34 liters.
So, but this is actually a prone board.
It is.
Prone specific board, so it's thinner. Now, this one, the connectivity is problematic. I can maybe 1 in every 4 or 5 attempts I can get up on foil, but like I say, 3 or 4 attempts out of 5 fails because the signal drops out. Now, I'm going to show you the best way that I've found to actually do this. You will get a little bit of connection as long as you're very close to the board, but as soon as you sink it, nothing at all. And even like this, occasionally you get signal, but it's not reliable. So the way that I've found best to do it, and it's not easy, is while you're lying like this, you're going to have to start the throttle, then pull yourself up onto the board and go as fast as you can, because the best way to prevent the signal from dropping out is to get the board skimming across the top of the water as fast as possible. Once you've done that, it very rarely drops out. But if you're going slowly across the top of the water, especially with the nose up like that, which means the tail is under, there's too much water and covering the box, and you drop out the signal. So I'm going to try and show you, there's two ways that I do it. First of all, start off like this. Okay, that was a failed attempt. Let's try again. This is all about honesty. Okay, so I can't remember whether that was my third or my fourth attempt, but I managed to get up on foil. Now, the other way of doing it, instead of starting it like this and pulling yourself up onto the board, another way of doing it is having myself right at the back of the board like this. So if I'm up here, it's too far underwater, but if I go all the way back like this, then I've still got signal. Okay, once you're on the foil, hybrid foiling around, the signal does not drop out. However, if the board, you're going real slowly and the board is on the water, if you sink it, there is a possibility it could drop out. Now, there is another way that I've just realised. These Footstrap inserts, there's like a hole into the board essentially. So if I hold the controller flat over those inserts, it seems to let the signal go through into the board much easier. So I'll give that one go as well. Whew. This is so cold. You guys have no idea how cold this is. My fingers, I can't feel them anymore at all. So, let me turn the controller off for safety and test it. Okay, it's safe now. So, with this board here, it is possible, as you've seen me use it, but it's taken me, and I'm very experienced with foil drive and how to get them to work, it's taken me a good 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of trying the controller, holding it on different positions on the board, pulling myself up onto the board in different ways. So it is possible to use it with this board, but it is more tricky than with the other boards, which were super easy. Okay. So this is the Wingsurf 4.0 27 litres. It's the smallest of the prone board range, and so far this is the most difficult to get the signal through. So, okay, I wasn't expecting that, that's unusual. As soon as you sink the board, absolutely nothing. Even if you put, okay, I am getting a little bit of signal here, but what we found out is that if you put the controller flat over one of the Footstrap insert holes, you always get signal. Whereas on the nose of the board, it's intermittent. So I'm going to try and demonstrate that by holding the controller on the deck, what the difference is by holding the controller over the Footstrap inserts. We'll see how I get on. This is actually very interesting. So, nothing at all. Put it on the deck. A little bit. I've got some. But I put it on the Footstrap insert. Even underwater, I'm getting full signal. Okay, so apart from me being a complete muppet, this actually works really well. So let's show again. No signal. No signal. Perfect signal. Now, it's a little bit awkward, but it just means it is perfect. Sorry, it is possible. If I put it over these Footstrap inserts here or here, I'm getting the best signal. It just doesn't drop out, no matter how far the board is underwater. So even with the controller and the board underwater, wow, I'm still getting signal. Now, zero signal dropout. All I was doing was holding it against that single Footstrap insert there. Here, it's even easier. I've learned something new today. This is really cool. What more can I say? Okay, so this is an Armstrong.
It's a WKT 109.
Okay, so it looks like this. And you can see it's less than 2 centimeters thick. It does work, but when it goes underwater, it doesn't. And the reason is because the board cannot transmit the signal through the board into the box. This type of construction, there is absolutely, even with this on here, there is no signal, nothing at all. I'm just going to give one little try. No, absolutely not. We have reached the limits